In this real workout video, I'm going to take you through an actual session that we did at the early stages of the peak summer season. You're going to see how I structured the session and also, crucially, how we were working on various technical elements of the long and triple jump. First up, let's take a look at the sprint drills part of the session as we use these to prime for the jumping and sprinting to follow. So we begin often in the summer with fast leg cycling drills. Here we have a low to a high cycle. The objective is to rotate the legs, lifting the heels higher, then lower, then higher. We do them over about 30 meters. So here's Eric, and you can see in slower motion what he's doing. We're picking up the heels, and in this case he's cycling over the knee. Then it drops into a lower cycle with the foot passing by the shin. The objective is sharp, crisp foot contacts. Next up, it was the calf low high run drill. The objective is to seamlessly progress from an ankling calf drill into a low leg cycle, into a high leg cycle, and then to run out, to sprint out. The objective, as with the other drill, is to be crisp, to be sharp, and to make the transitions seamless. So here's Eric again, and he's transitioning now into running, and you can hardly tell where the running starts and where the high leg cycle ends. Next up, you'll see Toby doing the same drill, and I really like them as they seem to be able to prime the jumpers for the subsequent work, the very fast technical work that's going to follow. And of course, they're great for developing technique, sprint technique, keeping everything smooth and controlled. Here's Adam doing the same again, progressing gradually and gradually into running. The key thing to think about is picking up the heel, lifting, 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 and then getting into your sprint posture and keeping that hip movement going. Heel recovery, pulling through to the front. After the drills, it was on to some sprints, and we did some 20s, 30s and 40 meters from a standing start. 2 to 4 or 5 runs is normally enough at this time of the season. If you run over a longer distance, for example 60 meters, or do more reps, then the athletes are more likely to be fatigued and unable to do the jumping part of the session optimally. Now, as jumpers, I'm using these sprints really as a way to develop their power and also their maximum velocity for their jumping. But of course, we still have to focus on the key elements of acceleration, in this instance over the shorter distances. So low heel recovery, angled body posture, and running your own acceleration, not keeping up with the guy next to you by standing up too soon, but focusing on what you're trying to do, imparting force behind you gradually and coming up slowly. Okay, we're on to the third part of the session, and that's technical jump work. Now I'm going to show you some of my guys jumping, and I'm identifying some of the things that they need to work on more. And in doing so, hopefully this is going to help your learning of what you too can do. Now Mikey here has opened out too much at the takeoff, and he's not punched the takeoff enough. There are also some issues with his arm action, which I'll take a look at on another jump. Here, Eric is not imparting enough force on the penultimate step, and therefore his takeoff isn't as powerful as it should and could be, albeit this position here with arm overhead and leg below is a good one in the hitch kick. I'm often asked about how you get more height at takeoff in the long jump, and it's all really down to how you set the jump up on the penultimate. Now I'm indicating here that he's taking a too long last step and also opening his chest up too soon after takeoff. He needs to hit and hold his takeoff better. How far you jump is very much determined by how you set that takeoff up, and we've been working a lot on it recently, so do check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's a lot to look at on this one from Mikey again, but let's look at the front arm. If that goes too high, then that affects the arm swing, and which in turn affects the rotation of the legs and the positioning going into the landing. Now here's Paul, the senior member of the group, and you can really see him set and push into the takeoff, and he gets a much better amount of a vertical lift accordingly. So the push in achieves the drive, greater height, and the jump continues to move forwards into a good landing position. Right, let's take a look at under 20 triple jumper Toby. Now, you're going to see a number of issues here. Arms are not being used as well as they could be on the run-up, but he's leaning forwards, and that's going to impart different types of momentum through the jump. It's going to lead to more forward momentum, and it's also going to lead to potentially not being able to open out in the hop, as I identified. You want to run tall through the takeoff. Then the arms need to be driven all the way back if using a double arm shift. Back to Kalen, the long jump and trying to gain height. You'll see that my fellow coach's hand is held at a certain angle, and the objective is to aim the free thighs hip bone at that hand, so to swing it up and away, and he starts to do it and gets more elevation, and that's one way to learn how to take off. Now of course you need to set it up properly beforehand, which, as I've identified, is something that Paul is very good at. So there's the set, the push into the takeoff, the drive up, and the climbing up through the air into the landing. Now, there was a lot to cover in this particular video, particularly when I went through the technical elements and the areas that my guys were working on. In future, I'll probably focus on one or two jumpers only and specific jumps so that we can really deep dive into some of the technical elements and requirements that are needed to optimize technical performance. As usual, if you've got any particular questions on the subject matter of this particular video, then do leave a comment in the section below or through my other social media. And good luck with your training and any competitions that you've got coming up. And please do subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification icon so that you'll be notified as to when I upload new content. And do please give this video a like. If you're interested in the extremely portable and accurate Freelap timing system, then do drop me a message. The system is accurate to 2/1000ths of a second and can time end times and split times. Also, do consider becoming a channel member. Every month I post an exclusive video which deep dives into the subject matter which is going to improve you as a long jumper, triple jumper or coach of those events. Coach athlete members get that video, and from what I can understand, are benefiting from the exclusive content. So head over to the channel's homepage, click on the join button to see what options are available.